Hello and welcome back to K&F Design. If you're new, my name is Katie. If you enjoy crafting with me today, then make sure you hit that like and subscribe so we can continue to craft together in the future. For today's project, we are going to make some fun trees made out of these paper cardboard cone shapes. I found these at Hobby Lobby in their Christmas section. It's kind of hard to find them again now, so I found some wood ones on Amazon. Those should work just fine for this project, so I'll link those ones below. And then you also will need some ribbon. Mine is a wired ribbon, which helps it bend a little bit. It's not necessary, but that's what I'm using today. You could also use ribbon without the wire tool, and for the second tree I'll do two of them. The second one you could even do a fun cardstock paper. You can do, I'm just going to use this one type of ribbon for both tree designs, but you could mix it up and do some of this ribbon with a little bit of tulle or a different color ribbon, and that could be fun as well. And then I'm also going to use some of these berries on my first tree just to give it a little bit more color since I did just stick with my green. And it also kind of helps hide any extra glue or mistakes you might have made. So that's kind of nice to hide with the berries. And then lastly, you need a glue gun. I'm using my Sure-Bond fine point glue gun. I'll link that below too. I really like the thin point precision glue gun just to keep the glue strings and mess a little bit more controllable. So with that, let's get crafting. For our first tree, I'm going to do a pleated design with the ribbon. It's easier to do since it's a wired ribbon, but if you do a non-wired ribbon, you can just glue them where I'm bending it. And then here I'm going to use this 1-inch squares on my desk just to help get my pleats a little bit more even. For our second tree, I am taking my ribbon and I'm going to do layers. So I'm going to cut some strips and then fold them in half and just glue them around the tree. You could do this with fabric and different types of ribbon. It doesn't need to be the wired ribbon for this. This would also be pretty with a nice Christmas or winter themed cardstock as well, and doing the same technique. If you're messy at the top or your top is not completely nice and even with the cuts, that's okay. It'll get covered up by the next layer. I recommend, instead of going next to the ribbon you just laid, to overlap it just a little bit. That helps cover up any of the tree cone that might be showing underneath and just gives it a nice pattern. Just make sure that the bottom where it's folded is even, and it doesn't matter if the top lines up correctly. You just want that bottom folded end to be lined up correctly. And I actually end up making it not even, and I take it apart and redo it here in just a minute. I just flipped, since this is a wired ribbon, I flipped my edges just a little bit to give it a little bit more detail here. Obviously not too much, but just a little bit. Adds a nice little bit of extra to it. And then if you wanted, you could also add the beads like we did, the berries like we did with that other tree, which would be very pretty for this one as well. I think I'm just going to do one with the beads, but if you wanted to, you could. I hope you had fun crafting with me today. I like how our little trees turned out. I fluffed the ends. I think that looks a little bit nicer. It gives this one a little bit more personality. And then I liked adding the little berries just to hide any little missteps or glue spots, things like that. And it adds a little bit of color. Again, you could add the berries to this tree if you wanted, but I decided not to because I didn't want to hide this little furling detail of this tree. If I had to pick, I think this one would be my favorite, but you'll have to let me know down below which one you liked better. I had fun crafting with you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.